It's like a pizza crunch without the batter. It's like the wood juice without the water. You'll never get the knickers off her. Fucking chance. Premeditated batter. Premeditated batter. This episode is sponsored by MK Meal Prep. But. So what's been happening, man? How you doing? You good?
How you doing? Alright?
It's good to have you on the couch, man. Good to have your gracious bum cheeks grace it.
That's it, aye.
So how you been, alright?
Aye, keeping alright, keeping busy and all that, so lockdown was mental,
Was it? But for were you making a lot of money on it?
Well, not a lot of money, but kept getting busy and all that, kept getting to jail and all that all the time.
So was that the first time you got to jail during lockdown?
4 times I've been in the jail, so...
But was it just during lockdown, or
Just,
what's the period you get to jail in?
The first time was 2016, I got to jail.
Fuck.
It was obviously one of my first offence,
Right.
And obviously I breached a 77 curfew.
Was it a bail condition?
It was,
Ah,
I
fuck.
breached a bail.
They don't fuck about when you breach the same, don't they, no?
I know, it was crazy, so I must have breached it about 13 times,
Fuck, did you?
I wasn't given a flying fuck, honestly.
Aye.
I just wasn't given 2 fucks about it.
Aye, mate, I feel you, mate. What was the curfew for?
It was to do with, obviously I had 8 charges. It was me and my pal and all that. He had a car and all that, and we were driving about, and obviously he wanted to drink and drive his motor and all that, and I was palling about with my other pal, So basically he jumped into the car while I was out doing a push, and he jumped in from the passenger side to the driver's side, drove the car, smashed it into a ditch, and I got the full blame.
So is it your motor?
It wasn't my car, it was my other pal's car.
Oh, fuck, how did you get blamed for it?
Just because, obviously, he told the police everything.
Oh, what, defling you under the bus?
That's right, aye.
Bastard.
Exactly, aye. So his girlfriend and all that phoned the police and all that, and reported the car was stolen,
Right.
While he wanted to drink and drive his own car, and I tried to help him that do not drink and drive his own motor,
So what was it? Was it your pal? Was it his motor?
It was his motor.
So you were driving it, he was steaming,
and I
then...
took the car off him to stop him drink and drive his own car, for other folks' safety and all that as well.
Aye.
So that's what I was concerned about,
So what did he say? You stole the motor off him and crashed into a ditch?
That's right, aye.
Dirty
That's
bastard.
right.
How long were you pals in
And
him for?
also his bird got the cheek that they phoned the police on me and all that,
That's a
Shocking,
snake,
honestly.
mate. How long did you know that boy for?
I knew him for years, but I never hanged about with him anymore. So
Wouldn't he, man, if he's doing you
after
like
his
that?
bird done that and all that, so it's a long story, So
I can imagine. So was that your first kind of brush with the law?
that's right, aye. So I started keep getting into trouble. I used to stay in Kirkintilloch and all that, right, a few years ago. So at that point, next thing was I found out that the legal system is so fucking corrupt to the core, honestly. And I absolutely hate it, honestly. I started studying a wee bit,
Aye.
and I started finding out that something's not right about this legal system, So I thought to myself, right, okay, I'm going to try and educate myself and all that, right?
Aye.
So obviously came up with deferred sentence, right? So obviously I had a lawyer, and I used a lawyer at that point. And the lawyer said to me, he says, if you plead guilty to that, the other 2 charges will get dropped.
Right,
And I thought to myself, well, why would I want to why would I want to plead guilty to all these charges, right? And end up, something which I've never even done. I says, I haven't done all these charges, And then the lawyer said to me, well, if you just plead guilty to all that anyway, you won't get to jail anyway, I thought to myself, right, okay, then I'll plead guilty to it. So when the same time, before I was calling up from the courtroom, I thought to myself, my gut was feeling like something's not right about this, like my gut was telling me that I should, I shouldn't
fight to
plead
clear your name.
guilty to this.
Aye.
Do not plead guilty to it, So at that point, I decided, so anyway, I went up to the courtroom, and the sheriff said, are you pleading guilty to this, and all that? I think it was up to 8 charges. And I said, no. I says, I'm not pleading guilty to it. And the lawyer looked like that there, and he went...
So did you tell your lawyer you'd plead to it then when you went in the court? He says, I'm not pleading
Because my lawyer said to me, he actually forced me, right, and told me to plead guilty to all the charges,
Right.
This is way back in 2016. I thought to myself, something's not right about this, So I decided no guilty to this, And I told him, I says, I'm not happy with this, And you know what happened to me? I still got remanded, the bastard,
Did you,
Still
aye?
got remanded, aye.
So was that
Rotted,
was that me you going up to obviously a pleading diet then? So you'd have
That's
pled to
right,
that then.
aye.
So did you get remanded to the trial?
That's right, aye.
Oh, that's because you've obviously says you'll take the plea. Then you've went in and
honestly, I was so gutted.
what did the
honestly.
judge say when you says I'm not pleading guilty? To
The
this?
sheriff was so confused, So that,
I bet his confusion turned to rage quite
that's
quickly.
right, honestly, the judge was so confused. Honestly, like, I was actually surprised. Why was I still getting remanded for this?
Aye.
So at that point, I still got remanded for 4 weeks. It was another 4 weeks to do a social worker report.
Aye.
And then obviously that point, done the social worker report, and then got let out back in bail, and then do another pleading diet again. So I went back to the same start again.
What? So they remanded you for the reports, then when they done the reports, they let you back out to go and
That's
plead
right.
to it again?
But the fact is, what they did was they remanded me because obviously for breaching bail.
Right.
So I'm
So
multiple
you up for the
times.
breaches of bail the same time you were up for this pleading
That's
diet?
right. So
right.
obviously this remanded was already been sent. I already been done half and half,
Right.
So I done half of it and then done another half, and I think I've been sentenced to a fine up to, what was it again? £450. That's what it was.
Was that what happened with that case?
That's what happened.
So what ended up happening? Did you
Do you know
plead
what
it?
happened?
Did you get found guilty?
I've been charged with a breach of the peace and citizen's arrest.
Was that for this first case?
This was the first case.
And what ended up happening? Did you go to trial with it?
I did die. So
what happened? Did you get found
obviously
guilty,
all
I
the
take it?
charges has all been dropped,
Or did they drop the charges?
They did die. I only been found guilty. Well, I did. I plead guilty to the 2 charges,
Aye.
And then I thought to myself, that was all right. That wasn't too bad, So that's what happened,
Right.
Because obviously I was cheeky with the police and all that.
Aye.
And obviously I was trying to roll about with the police and all that,
Aye.
So
So was that your first kind of experience with the law?
well, that's it, aye. And then I started getting me into trouble, and then I thought to myself, I keep getting into trouble and all that because of the breach of the peace and all that, arguing with the police and all that, and obviously the police hated me for Kirkintilloch,
Aye.
So I have a big, massive connection with Kirky police,
Your face is known to them.
Exactly, aye. So that point,
They're after you.
Exactly, aye. So the whole lot of them know me up there, The whole lot of them know me,
Right.
I know them, and I know them for a number of years, So there's one cop there, his name's called PC Roseplain. I'll never forget his name. And honestly, I know this guy for almost 13, 14 years.
Aye.
So
Fuck's sake, sending each other birthday cards, I imagine.
crazy, honestly.
So how do you know this cunt so well?
Just because I used to stay in Kirky and all that. you
And
know?
bet he was the main one that would jail you, kind of
That's
thing?
right.
And so
Well, he
that-
never jailed me, but he always kept creeping about all the time, and he kept saying that stop hanging about with this year and stop hanging about with that one and all that. You think to yourself, listen, mate, get yourself to fucking all that. That's what that's what I kept thinking to myself with this copper, I said, well, what you doing, telling me what to do and all that, You can't tell me what to do and all that, That's what he is, He likes to go about telling other cunts and all that and try and say, well, stop hanging about with that year and stop hanging about this year and all that, Guys are bum, honestly,
Fuck's sake. See, see with the first time he says you went to the jail, how did it feel going to jail for the first time?
The first time I was kind of concerned because obviously Ballini is a big place.
Was it Ballini you went to?
I was, aye. That
Right.
was my first time. I
Fuck's
was in
sake,
there.
man, you
for-
landed in hell then, didn't you? Fuck. I thought you
Aye.
went to fucking Adivale or something, and Ballini's brutal on it.
Well, Addiewell was the worst one. That was the
Was it,
last
aye?
one.
I've always heard Adivale was a better jail.
Well, believe it or not, Addiewell is more worse than what Ballini is. It's just totally broken out with fights.
Oh, but do you mean like
Honestly,
more wild than Ballini?
It is. Well, I recommend Addiewell is more worse than Ballini.
Aye, but for the violence and that, you mean?
That's right, aye. Because when I was in Addiewell there last year, right? Because last year I was remanded 3 times, right? 3 times I was remanded because of this coronavirus carry on, right? So I had 2 curfews, one in Paisley Sheriff Court and the one in Glasgow Sheriff Court, right? And I wasn't giving 2 fucks about it, because I thought to myself, this COVID thing is just a load of piss anyway, Why would I deserve to get a 77 curfew, which everything, all the restrictions and all that is all getting eased,
Aye.
So I thought to myself at that point, what is the point, what is the point of having a 77 curfew, It's crazy, honestly, so...
Answer that if you need to answer it,
No,
mate.
it's alright, it's fine. So anyway, at that point, what was it?
You were talking about you had a 77 curfew.
Aye,
and
a
that, and it was during
77
COVID.
curfew. So at that point, I decided just to do whatever I want to do, you know.
Aye.
So, and then obviously the police know, like the police know that from Paisley, when I had my house in Paisley. So I kept breaching it all the time, and I was going down to London, buying and selling motors. That's what I did and all that, you know. So I was buying and selling cars and all that at that point. And when I was coming back up from England to Scotland, at the borders of Scotland, the police pulled me up. That was it. Got remanded at HMP Dumfries, you know.
Fuck's sake.
Honestly,
That's a pure
HMP
dungeon, that
Dumfries.
place, is it no?
It is. It's a wee small jail, you know.
It's tiny, innit?
It is. It's a wee small jail. So I got remanded there for a couple of weeks, and then that point went to Paisley Sheriff Court, got sentenced to unpaid work. It's 165 hours unpaid work, which I'm doing just now to try and get this thing completed.
Was that just for the breach, a bail?
That was to do with saying to a copper that I had coronavirus. I think it was 3 charges I've been charged with. Walking about, which I had coronavirus, which I said, which I never had no coronavirus,
Aye.
right? So at that point, and I think I've been charged with two restrictions with going out with your local council area. So that means that, remember that point during lockdown that you can't go out your local council area.
It was like fucking tier 2 or some shit like
That's
that.
right, aye. So obviously I kept breaching it.
Aye.
So from, I think it was Renfrewshire, Paisley, and then I was going all the way to North Lanarkshire through Cumbernauld.
Right.
And obviously I was going over to see my pal and all that, you know. So every time I was going on TikTok and all that, at that point, on live, obviously off-duty police and all that were watching me, right?
What?
I never knew it. Honestly, they actually watch my live all the time, you know. This is what they do. So I never knew about this, you know, till I seen the police statements when I was in court. And I thought to myself, you fucking black bastard, honestly. You know, I actually couldn't believe it, honestly. So when I was up in getting sentenced, obviously up for my sentence, deferred sentence in Paisley Sheriff Court.
Right.
So that point, the PF read out the full police statement, said that PC Kevin McCartney was off duty, blah, 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 watching Mr. Lee Sutherland's live at, I think it was at Lee Sutherland 555, right? Read out the full username. The full
Named and
thing,
shamed you.
honestly.
Fuck's
Aye,
sake.
time, date, the lot, you know. Witnessed that Lee Sutherland were on a bail or something, a 77 curfew, so he was aware. So this copper, Kevin McCartney, was aware that I had a 77 curfew, right?
Right.
So that point that he understood that, right? So when I was on live, he phoned the police, right, and said to the police that to try and block me in. So which they did. So they followed me behind. They actually waited for me. I think it was what's the name of that motorway? What's the name of it?
Where's it gone?
It's like, what's the name of it again? It's not Gretna Green. It's up further a bit. It's like the borders of Scotland. That's where it was.
Right,
you
on the
know.
motorway at the borders of
I
Scotland.
can't remember where it was. The name of the motorway again. Just passed by like Gretna Green Services. So at that point, and the police pulled behind me. And when the police pulled behind me, that point, the next thing was they just caught me. You know, they actually caught me.
So they went and followed you. What were you on bail for at this point? Got the COVID breaches?
Because of the COVID.
And they went and
breaches,
boxed
aye.
you in because you were fucking breaching. Was it a curfew or was it because you were breaching, you were outside the your boundaries?
It was to do with breaching the 77 curfew.
Right, so it's breaching the curfew. Even
You
at
know.
that, man, that's a bit fucking harsh,
I
isn't
actually
it?
had two 77 curfews, you know. 277
So
curfews.
were they the same address?
It was, aye.
I was going to say you'd have been fucked for the
Paisley.
start if it was 2 different addresses.
That's right, aye, when I was staying in Paisley, you know. So, I was brutal, honestly, mate. See, during lockdown, soon the start of lockdown, honestly, it was so brutal, honestly. I actually had a very tough, hard time, honestly.
Oh,
It
really?
was very, very stressful, mate, honestly.
Was it this just through the police and that?
Just to do with the police, you know.
Was it? I saw it with the
Just to
constantly
do
getting
with
you
the
hassle.
police. The police hated me so much, I hated them as well, you know.
Was it, do you think they hated you because you hated them?
It's just because one copper. See, start of lockdown, right? This is when I what do you call it? I started. When I started the TikTok thing, that was the start of lockdown.
Right.
So that's when I started that TikTok account.
Right.
And I started putting videos and all that, and obviously everybody starting to know me, and you know, and obviously you know that there's a lot of coppers and all that watch my live and all that, you know. So this is something which I never knew about, you know. So I was really surprised that there's a lot of Kirky Polos that actually watched my live. Honestly, I could not believe
Fans,
it. Honestly, that actually off-duty coppers actually watch my live. See, the economy people, the G4S people, that obviously they put you in the prison van.
Aye.
They take you from A to B and all that, you know. Pick you up for the police station and they take you to, like, obviously the prison or
the jail and
courts
that,
all that.
aye, transport
the
you.
jail. So there's a lot of them know me as well, you know, through TikTok
Through
as
TikTok,
well.
so they all follow you.
But they all follow me and all that. But at that point, they love my content, you know. They love all the videos, like me dancing about with a judge outfit and all that. And I think it was before the judge outfit, I was kicking about with a old school police uniform with a white shirt and all that, you know.
Was that when you were doing like, arresting cunts?
Exactly. I wasn't going about in the public like.
Just like obviously didn't.
It was only a laugh just for the what do you call it, the TikTok account.
For the
thing,
content.
You know?
What made you start doing that?
What's
What made
that?
you start doing these sketches like dressing up as a police and jailing cunts?
Just for a laugh, you know.
Just
it's
done it for a laugh. It wasn't like a kind of
Exactly.
fuck you to the police or anything.
No, it wasn't to do with that. It was just a laugh, you know, and that's what it was all about.
Mm-hmm.
So I found it really funny, you know, at that point. So
See, did you start the TikTok with the sole purpose of what's lagging fuck at the police? Because obviously you says this first case can actually stemmed your hate against authority and all that shit. So I take it TikTok came after that. Or was it roughly the same time?
I think it was just the same time, aye. So
I see.
I think it was just the same time. And then, see, after the police thing, obviously I've been charged, right? The funny thing about it, right? I walked into Kirkintilloch police office, right? And I just thought to myself, fuck yous, right? So I walked into the police station at Kirkintilloch police office. Full complete police uniform, handcuffs, the full belt, the full booner, right? The full kit on. Walked in, opened the door and all that, walked in. And this copper, his name's called PC Mackenzie, right? He's that old school copper, right? And I says, how you doing and all that? And he just went like that. He just went like that there, right? He says, Sutherland, you're getting to jail for that, you know? I says, well, fantastic, you know? That's what I said to him, right? I only done that just to try and wind him up, you know? I only wind him up, you know? So, that point, all the Kirky coppers and all the colleagues and all that came out and all that. It must have been a half a dozen of colleagues came out in the hallway bit at the police station, and they were all pissed out laughing and all that, all giggling away and shaking their head and thinking to themselves, what the fuck's wrong with that guy? Honestly, walking about with a old police uniform, you know.
Was it the real deal or did it look like a dress up? Did it look like you dressed up? Could you pass for a copper?
See, like the London police, you know.
Aye.
Well, that's what the uniform looked like, you know.
Oh, was it? Aye.
Aye, but it was, well, obviously I would try to look like see back in Strathclyde police back then, you know? Like way back in the 90s or the 80s and all that. Well, that's what they used to wear, the white shirts with the black epaulets.
Aye.
So obviously I had a sergeant with the stripes and all that, you know, and the G, like the G logo thing, and then obviously a set of numbers and all that. So it looks like the, you know,
looks the real deal. Where the fuck did you
exactly,
get
aye,
that?
the full real thing. You can buy it offline, you know,
I see.
Cop Shop, Amazon and stuff like that. I bought the handcuffs off Amazon.
See.
It was some laugh, honestly, mate. I really.
So what happened? Did you get to
I wasn't
jail?
worth it at the end, but obviously it was so funny, you know.
Did you get to jail?
I never got to jail. Believe it or not, that charge has been dropped because it's a fake police uniform, you know.
So what do you mean the charge get dropped? So did you get like, lifted for it? But
I did die. I got arrested. I've been taken to Coatbridge police office that night, and I got a undertaker. So I've been let back out in bail again to go to court the next following, I think it was a few weeks down the line. So at that point, the court actually dropped it because obviously the reason why, because the copper went on holiday and he never replied back to the PF.
oh right, so it was
the
kind of
charge has
lucky.
been
Never.
dropped. So I was a lucky bastard at that point, you know.
What made you want to do that? But did you not know you were going to get to jail?
Just because it was fun, you know. I just wanted to wind the coppers up, you know. I actually got a buzz off. But see, when I used to see years and years ago, mate, right? I used to be a dafty, right? Honestly, I used to be a fuckwit, right? Years and years ago.
How do you mean?
Like, I used to buy all the ex-Polos cars, right?
Right.
And I used to drive about with them, right? And I used to follow the Polos early hours in the morning, right? Just for a laugh, right?
Aye.
No, something's not right up there, right? So at that point, right, I used to follow about with the Polos and all that. From Kirkentall all the way through up to Sky Car Park up in Carmsey and all that. Right?
Aye.
So the next thing was, so the Polos kind of like stopped in like the side of the road, and before they stopped, I cut into a different street, right? And I try and kind of twist it a wee bit, right? So when they stop me, right, I twist my words round and say, "Oh, I'm just going that direction. Well, why are you following us and all that?" That's what the coppers, obviously they stopped me and all that,
Aye.
right? So at that point, the next thing was they said, right, okay, well, I need to check your details and all that. And obviously, this is when I started, like, obviously, had a connection with these coppers in Kirkentulloch, because I kept doing it and doing it and doing it and doing it all the time, right, for a number of months and, well, so long, maybe over a period of a year, right?
Uh-huh.
So at that point, I just kept doing it all the time. This one copper, it was a woman. She has curly hair, right?
Right.
This woman is not right in the head. She let me off a few times, right? But obviously she was like dealing with different things all the time. So I'm like, see, most of the time I'm nothing but a lucky bastard sometimes,
You can say that.
Honestly, I'm nothing but a lucky bastard sometimes, right? So sometimes, was it? Aye. So that point, I was belting it, right? I had a Vauxhall Omega, right? Big V6 engine, right? And I was belting it through Bishopbriggs, just coming into Kirkentulloch, right? But before you come into Kirky, it was at the roundabout at Bishopbriggs, and I was fucking belting it. I must have been doing at least 80, 90 miles an hour, right? But again, it was early hours in the morning. I had a few boys and all that in the car. Obviously, I picked them up from town to drop them back at, I think it was Hairstains or something at the back of Kirky. So at that point, half a dozen of coppers, right, they were doing that incident over the wee kind of slip hill road, but this is them, like that there, right? So they put the hand like that there, and I thought to myself, I'm going to get fucking fucked for this, right? So I stopped, jumped out the car and all that. This woman, you again, Mr. Sutherland and all that, and right, out the car now, need to breathalyse you. Do you know what type of speed you were doing? I actually heard the noise and all that, coming over that kind of, the wee hill, the kind of wee slope hill bit. And I heard the noise of this car, and the engine was roaring us off. It's not, would you like me to jail you right now and all that? That's what the woman was going. You're lucky enough that I'm dealing with an incident right now. That's what she said, but I'm letting you go with this time. If I see you doing this again, you will get the jail, and I'll take your license off you. That's what she said.
Yeah.
I says, right, okay, I'm really sorry and all that, right, okay then, on you go now, That's what she said, And then the second time that, so that point, the next thing was, I was at Woody Lee, like near Lenzie, that kind of area a bit.
Right.
Next thing was there was a police car. I had a 77 coffee at that point, and same time again there was a woman. And I seen her, right, and she bullied about, and she came after me, right.
That's the same woman?
The same woman again, but this is like a few months down the line, right.
Right.
And next thing was she bullied about. This is when they had Ford Transit Connects back then, bullied about, engine roaring as not, try to catch me and all that, right. So I went over this kind of wee banking bit. I was covered in mud top to bottom. Again, early hours in the morning and all that. I was visiting a friend, right. So at that point, I covered myself, like I was actually kneeling down, and I was lying down.
Were you running?
I was running, but obviously I was into a muddy patch bit, right?
Aye.
I was covered in mud top to bottom and all that, right? And next thing was, it was so dark. I was in somebody's back garden, right? And this is them, phoned a whole lot of colleagues, right? And I heard can I get a dog request and all that out, right? I thought to myself, I need to get the fuck out of this place, right? So the next thing was they had grey big giant LED torches and all that, right? And they were poor shining, like they try to look for me, right? But it was so dark.
Through the gaps in the fence.
That's right, aye. So it was so dark.
To be in some cunt's back garden?
What's that?
Were you in some cunt's back garden?
I was, at that point. Then I started climbing through somebody's back garden.
Right.
And I climbed over a grey big garage, right? So I climbed over a tree on top of somebody's garage, and I couldn't jump down. And that was that point I couldn't get away, I couldn't get away because obviously I was so scared of heights, I thought to myself, fucked myself over with this, So that point, next thing was, she said, get over here now, you wee shite, and all that. That's what she said, I thought to myself, fuck's sakes, she's got some attitude on her and all that, right? So I started climbing over the tree again and all that. Second time, I started running again,
Aye.
and I was totally out of breath, right? So I was so out of breath. And this is her, and there was another guy with a baldy head. So the two of them started chasing me through the woods, and she fell. So when she fell, I gave up that point, and she actually took a great big cut, a big slice on her hand. So I actually got the blame for that,
So how did she cut her hand?
because obviously she fell and she cut her hand off a branch.
Oh, I see.
So she actually sliced her hand like that there,
Oh,
and it was all opened up with blood and all that, It was terrible, honestly. I felt sorry for the woman.
Fuck's sake.
And I actually I actually felt quite bad for that point, But the woman was so pissed off with me, honestly. She actually, she was poor. I think it was that point, she handcuffed me that point. And she actually the handcuffs were so tight.
Aye.
And I kept asking her, listen, I'm really sorry. You'll be sorry, all right, you wee bastard, and all that. Listen, you wee shite, you're getting to jail, and I'll make sure you will get to jail and all that, That's what she kept saying. So, obviously, I got laid back out in bail again that point, because obviously I breached the 77 curfew again. So
Did you end? I take it, obviously, you got caught. How did they catch you? That time? Obviously, you were getting chased and she fell. How did they end up
She
catching
passed by on the road. It was a main road, and she passed by. And that point, she found out that it was myself was walking on the side of the road.
you? Oh, so you just try and play it casual, then she drove by you and seen you?
That's right. That's what happened. So, but it was again. I felt sorry for the woman because obviously she sliced her hand, But obviously it's been reported on the court report thing,
Aye, but so they
the police
mentioned it in the thing with it?
Aye, it's been mentioned in the police statements.
Aye.
So
Do you never
it's
get charged
crazy.
with it or nothing?
I never been charged with it, no, but I did been charged with breaching bail.
Uh-huh.
So obviously I never assaulted her, but I did say that, and obviously the sheriff took that quite serious,
Oh, right.
Obviously I got quite a big heavy fine. I got £600 fine for that.
Fuck, did you, aye?
Aye, I did.
Did you get remanded for it?
No, I never got remanded for that. I just had a big heavy fine for that,
Fuck's sake.
Aye, so crazy.
So what was thing with see? I meant to ask you, obviously, the first time you were in the jail, if you actually got to jail, did you think it was ever going to happen?
Well, from the second time of the jail, though.
The first time, because remember you says you went to
Oh,
Berlin.
aye, I did, aye. I've been in Berlin twice.
Oh, have you?
No. See, the second time, when I was in Berlin, the sheriff never took nothing into account whatsoever. I was an older sheriff, an older guy. And the guy wasn't even listening, And the PF never even said much about it. Just said one or two words and then sat back down again. And then obviously I had a lawyer at that point. And the lawyer stood up, explained everything and all that, and tried to say that obviously my mum doesn't keep very well and all that. All the bullshit and all that, just to try and lay it thick,
Aye.
to try and get back out in bail, That the judge wasn't taken for that,
Aye.
So he just remanded me, So I got remanded and I got high court bail. So I got let back out in the next, I think it was 10 or 11 days time.
Aye.
And I got let back out at that point. So, see, Berlin is a horrible jail, honestly.
It's a hellhole, innit?
It is, it's a horrible, horrible experience, mate, honestly.
Were you dubbed up, Andy?
I was, aye. It's a two-man cell,
Aye.
Two-man cell. The one down in HMP Dumfries, that's a four-man cell.
Is it?
It is, aye.
So
it's
you
a
dubbed up
four-man
the three
cell.
cunts?
Aye, 4 men.
Is it
4
fuck's
men.
sake?
It was absolutely packing, honestly, during lockdown, aye.
Fucking
Aye,
hell,
it
because
was
you were
so-
in there during the lockdown, weren't you? Fuck's sake, were you allowed at the cell at all, huh?
No, really, because the way the excuse was, they're saying that they're trying to reduce the COVID spread or something.
Aye.
So obviously you have to isolate I think for 10 days or something, and then that point you get let out for exercise and all that, you know, that usual pish, you know. So.
Aye. So did any of you ever had COVID?
I never ever had COVID. I actually didn't believe in COVID, you know.
You don't believe in it?
I actually think COVID's a scam, mate.
How would you think's going on?
The reason why, because I think it's just a wee flu, you know. It's just like a flu.
So you think there's a lot of flu going about, but it's no serious as they make it?
Exactly, aye. So, aye. But I don't think it's serious what they're trying to say, you know. I think it's just a scam pandemic, you know.
A scamdemic?
That's what it is, aye. So it's just a big scam, you know. So
why do you think they're doing it? Why do you think they're doing it?
But the reason why, I think, see, like, when you watch Nicola Sturgeon doing briefing, like the briefing COVID things,
Aye.
that point, when you see her, like, she's, like, so confused, she doesn't know what she's talking about and all that. Everything's all been planned. The way I see it is, like, everything's all been set up and all that. Like, see, when you see somebody... like talking over the news and all that.
Yeah.
It's just like wee clips at a time. You see that on the news and you think to yourself, this has all been done up, it's all been made up and all that, you know?
Aye, you think it's all manufactured and dramatised?
Exactly, aye. That's like what you say there, you know? To me, that's my own opinion, you know? You know? So
what do you think they're doing it for, but why do you think they're doing it?
I think it's just, like, when you see, like, stuff on The Simpsons and all that, like, everything's all coming true, like when you look on Facebook or like TikTok and all that, you see people putting stuff like on The Simpsons, like the Ukraine and all that, like back in 2005, you see The Simpsons as like putting that on, and you think to yourself, why is all this coming true? Which is like everything's all coming true now. Like, I don't know much about it, you know, but it's quite. For me, it's complicated, you know, to understand all this, you know.
Aye, of course.
Like, it's like government, like, I actually think the government's is all planning. It's like something's all into a book and they have to plan everything, you know. It's like a Bible, it tells you everything what's happening.
A new world order almost.
Exactly, it's like a new world order, exactly. That's what it's like, you know. And they try to, like, later on in life, they're saying that they're going to put a chip in somebody's arm and, you know, you're supposed to get a number for the mark of the beast or something like that. You know, that's what it says of the Bible and all that, you know. So, you know, it's crazy, you know, it's crazy stuff, you know.
It's a mad time we're living in now, I definitely agree, man.
It is, it's funny times, which we're living in right now. See when lockdown started, I actually found that something is so weird about this, you know. Why put the economy in lockdown? You know, why, like, don't go out if it's necessary and don't do exercise for an hour. You know, you can go, like, you know, like what they're saying is, it's just so complicated, you know. Like, I understand TikTok tried to help a lot of people out. I understand I helped a lot of people out as well through lockdown, you know, through TikTok as well. I did, you know, and you know, stuff like that, you know. So,
how do you feel your reception's been on TikTok? How do you think people like take you and that kind of stuff?
There's a lot of folk love my content, you know.
Right.
I love, like when I started TikTok, that's when there's a lot of people added me. So my last account was about 40,000 followers, you know. Obviously, I lost that account, you know. Also, I lost my 2 phones as well by the police, you know.
Oh, did they take your phones off you?
Aye, they did. They took
man.
One of them was that I was bad-mouthing behind a copper's back and saying that I knew where he stayed and all that. You know, I was only having a laugh through TikTok and all that. And again, the same copper again, that prick PC Kevin McCartney and all that. And obviously, he sent his colleagues and they came to my door and says, we need to take your phone off you because obviously... Like, they never said anything about it. They just said that you caused a breach of the peace, you know. How is that a breach of the peace, you know? What, because of bad mouth and a copper's back, you know? And I was only having a laugh through TikTok, you know? So it's crazy, you know.
Do you not wonder how they might take it seriously, but if you're saying you know where he stays and all
well, they do, aye. They do take it quite serious. But the fact is that I wasn't really being serious because I was only having a laugh, you know. It's just one of these ones I just talk about a shite anyway. Of
just to the wind up,
Exactly, aye. It's just a laugh end of the day, you know. So
what happened to another phone You said you get 2 taken off
I
you?
did, aye. The other phone was seized because obviously I was personating the police and all that, you know.
Oh, for fuck's sake. Is that the time you walked into the cop shop?
That was that point, obviously, I said to the coppers, aye, that's what happened. When I was walking down at the police station, dressed up as a police and all that,
Aye.
right? A old police uniform. That point, the copper was, what was it? He seized my phone because obviously I was personating a copper and all that, you know. So that's what happened, you know. They seized my phone. So, and obviously I was putting videos up on TikTok, arresting people and all that, and obviously wearing that police outfit and all that. So obviously the most of the videos which they did was they kind of shut it down anyway, you know.
Right, so see the ones you were dressing up as opposed to arresting cunts, did you get done for that?
Did
Did you get charged for it?
I never got done for that. No, I never got
Did you
charged
questioned
for that.
or anything on it? Nah.
I did, I got questioned about it. But I never been charged with that.
What were they
so,
asking you about? What did they say to you?
They're just asking questions and all that. I just said no comment, no comment. No comment, you pig cunt. You know, that's
Did
what
you
I
say
said.
that?
That's what I said, no comment, you pig cunt.
What did
No
they say to
comment.
that?
They just looked at me and all that, and they just, right, okay, that's it. Interview's over, you know, that's what they did. So, no. But it was some laugh, you know.
Fuck's
It was
sake.
some laugh.
I can imagine. So TikTok, man, were you enjoying obviously posting TikTok until you obviously get your accounts banned?
I do enjoy posting stuff on TikTok and all that. The reason why is because it helps me. It's something to do and all that. It clears your mental health. It's good for your mental health and all that. If it wasn't for TikTok, I don't know what I was supposed to do.
You'd still be impersonating a cotter probably, but
But at the end of the day, I hate the police. End of the day, mate. But I only just do it for a laugh, you know.
yeah,
So,
of course.
aye.
What do you think of the trolls on TikTok? What have you got to say to them?
The trolls, fuck the whole lot of them.
Trolls can be quite nasty sometimes, eh?
Definitely, they're crazy, honestly. You know?
I think they've got it in for you. Do you think some of the police are trolls?
Possibly, aye, mate. Possibly, especially that Kevin McCartney, you know. See the amount of coppers that stop me in, see in town and all. Most of the time, I always socialise in town.
Aye.
And that point,
But the town in Cumbernauld or the city centre?
no, in the
Glasgow?
city centre of Glasgow.
Right.
So every time I go in the town, during obviously at the weekends and all
Aye.
that. So I usually drive about, do the town ring and all that, and my motor and all that. So. And at that point, I was walking about, and the police stopped me and says, "Oh, are you Lee Sutherland?" And all that. I says, "Oh, well, what's up?" and all that, you know. And I thought to myself, maybe I have a warrant for arrest and all that. I was kind of concerned a wee bit, you know. But believe it or not, these two coppers of Drumchapel, you know,
Right.
and they were absolutely sound as fuck, honestly.
Oh,
sound
aye.
as fuck, honestly. Very, very sound, very open-minded coppers, you know. And they would just say that, "I love your content. Can I get a photo with you?" So I did. I got a photo with them and all that. And the two coppers took their phones out, and then they took a photo with me and all that. And they just said, "Good luck. Have a."
Just to
keep
get a
yourself
photo with the
safe and all
fans?
that." What's that?
With the fans?
Must have been now. You
That's
know?
madness. You think a cop would they'd be the opposite of a
They
fan
just,
if they
they
say,
just love my content, you know. There's
Yeah.
a lot of people out there that actually love my content, you know. So it's crazy, you know.
madness, man.
It's absolutely crazy. So, you know.
Obviously, you post online, you see you have these big gangbangs with birds and all that kind of thing.
No,
is
you
this
see-
true or is this just for a laugh?
No, that's only a laugh.
That's it, right?
That's just banter, mate, you know.
So what about, I've seen you in a few lives with birds and saying you just want to ram it in them and all that shit. Is that
That's just having a laugh and all that, you
do you
know.
think people take you too seriously at times?
Possibly, aye. So even Mark Hamilton and all that, he was actually shitting his hill and all that.
Who?
Mark Hamilton.
Oh, Mark Cameron, how would be saying to him?
Well, obviously he said that on live. I think I was on.
What did he say?
He said that I seen that you were saying that you were shagging 12 birds and all that.
Who says
You must be a very lucky man or something. That's what Mark Hamilton said.
that he says you must be a lucky man, but be on live with him?
But that's what he said. No, I wasn't on live with him. But at that point,
Or he says it on a live?
that's what he was saying now when he was on his live, you know.
Right.
So-
Then what happened?
And basically, he was just going on about, "Oh, I seen that your content you were somebody put up on a post on TikTok that you were shagging 12 birds, you know.
Right.
You must be a lucky man, you know."
Right, so he wasn't even trying to slag you on that? And he
Well,
just said-
no, he wasn't slagging me. No, not at all, no. He was just saying that, you know.
Right.
So, but believe it or not, he's got a healthy bird anyway. You know?
You into it, aye?
Aye, she's all right. She's no bad looking, you know. Well, a wee bit young for me, but obviously, you know, obviously I'm 28 years old and all that. But
Fuck, you're younger than me, man. I'm 29.
all right. Well, only a year old and maybe a couple of months old, you know.
Aye, that's it, mate. What's your maddest party you've ever had?
The maddest parties.
Aye, because are you always flinging parties, or was that just a joke as well?
It depends. I don't know. I always have a party. Like obviously dancing about with a judge's wig and all that, doing that at the car park, doing that
Aye.
old and all that, you know. That's my type of parties, you know.
How did you start doing it with the judges big and that? What was the
I
idea for
actually
that?
see, because of the content with the judges and all that, I actually got an obsession with the legal system now. So I'm so a big fan of the legal system, because the reason why I think it's proven anyway, it's corrupt. You know, it is corrupt to the core.
Have you realised that for the cases you've been up
Actually,
for?
this is the reason why I realise now, because the legal system is corrupt to the core. You know, so definitely, it's horrible, honestly. You know,
What was it that made you realise it was corrupt?
just because of the lawyers and all that. Your lawyers is telling you to plead guilty to this and this and that. You didn't have any rights, you know, but you're supposed to have rights, you know. The police is so corrupt and all that. See the amount of police are doing gangbanging and all that as well. Like, one time, I, again, breached a curfew again, you know.
You shall shock you.
No, I'm telling a lie. It was during lockdown, that's what it was. Again, I was at Kirkintilloch and these two coppers and all that. His name's called PCK Craig, right? And the other copper, I don't know what's his name. And this young copper, right? I think he was about 21, 22 years old. And he was only a young copper, you know. And we started talking about gay sex, right? So
You started talking about gay sex to this copper?
gay sex, aye. So
How
this
did you end up
copper-
in that conversation?
So when the conversation started, right? So when I got arrested and all that, I was in the back of the police car and all that. And this copper, he started talking about what was it? He started like driving the car very slow. I think 25 miles an hour or something, right? Very, very slow. And he was so interested in this conversation. So at that point, he started talking about 30 footballers, which they were gangbanging.
30 what?
30 footballers,
Oh,
right?
footballers, right?
Aye, footballers, right? But there were 30 guys, right?
Right.
So there were 30 of them, right?
Right.
So at that point, they were all gangbanging into a house somewhere in Glasgow.
Right.
I don't know what part in Glasgow, but somewhere in Glasgow, right? So all these fit guys, right, they were all banging each other and all that. Obviously, it was all been proven all over the newspaper and all that, again, during lockdown, you know? So at that point, next thing was, this copper started talking about that to his colleague and all that. And I say, oh, is that right? So I interrupt and all that. And I say, oh, is that right? I says, well, it's quite funny. I says, well known that Police Scotland is quite thingy about that, you know? I says, they quite like to do stuff like that during, like, obviously, like, what do you call it? Like off duty and all that. You know?
Right. So you saying the police were involved in this?
Aye, so the copper started talking about, oh, if it wasn't for my wife and all that, I would be right into that, you know. I could not believe it, honestly. So the cop on the driver's side started talking about that. I wish, see if it wasn't for my wife, right, I would be so into that, you know. I would actually have a bit, you know, have a laugh with him, and then I would just jail him then, you know. That's what he said, you know.
Did he?
That's what he said. This is, I would actually just let the whole lot of them to just bend me over and shag fuck out of me. That's what the copper said.
The police
and I
said it?
thought to myself, you dirty black bastard, honestly. I says, a copper saying that, you know, and inside a car, right? And next thing was, obviously years and years ago, right, I was driving about early hours in the morning at Murder Country Park. Yeah. So I came up with a story, and I said to him, obviously, that's what happened, you know. So at that point, this copper, no, it was a police van. It was in a dark car park, and I was hiding away round the back of the car park in Murder Country Park. And it was early hours in the morning. I stopped by to do a piss and all that, right? So obviously I needed to do the toilet, you know. So at that point, I pulled in. I seen, you know, obviously the shine of the headlights of the car. I seen this kind of high vises, right? I thought to myself, okay, let's drive up a bit. And this is what I seen, a police van, right? So the point is, I drove up, and more close I drove up, I seen the windows were all steamy inside this police van. the same time I was having this conversation with the two coppers in the police car. I was
So
telling them.
had you been jailed at this point? Is this the two guys you're talking about the gangbang with?
That's right, aye. So we're still having the same conversation, which I was saying, obviously, I was explaining it to the two coppers, this same conversation, right, which I'm talking about just now. So when I drove up close to the police van, splitch black at night, early in the morning, that point I seen was the windows were all steamy, right? So the windows were all steamy, and I seen three men, right? Three policemen, and they were actually gangbanging each other.
But this actually happened?
This is exactly a fully legit, mate. 100% this is what happened.
So wait, right, let's take back. Right, so you're having this conversation about these two coppers saying there was a gangbang of 30 footballers.
That's what happened.
Did you get lifted at this point?
I got lifted that same time.
So
right?
when was this time when you seen the van, it was all steamed up? Was this another time?
No, this is a way back years and years ago. So I was explaining the conversation.
Oh, so you're telling them this story?
Exactly, I was telling them, I was explaining to them this story. I say, is that right? So...
when you tell them a story about this.
Exactly, I told them the story that, is that right? Is this what police do and all that? And I was explaining obviously the conversation, the story, what happened about the three policemen having sex, gangbanging, anti-abakia van, which the windows were all steamy. And actually, the one in the passenger side actually took a hard on. And the guy says, can you actually stop talking? That's what he said. Can you actually stop talking about this? I'm actually getting a hard on, And the guy was like, honestly, fully legit, me, honestly. The guy actually tried to pull his trousers down a bit. He tried, honestly, 100%, honestly.
But this guy in the passenger seat started trying to pull his trousers down.
The young copper must have been gay as in cell, Honestly, the guy actually took a hard on because he actually took so horny,
Did this actually happen? Did you just make this up?
No, this is exactly fully legit, 100%.
So what did the other police do when he started trying to pull his trousers down?
When he was trying to pull his trousers down, he says, can you use two, can you stop talking to each other and all that about this gay sex? I actually got a hard on and all that.
Fuck off.
Honestly, this is what happened. A young copper, named man 21, 22 years old,
Fuck's sake.
A young, poofy copper, honestly. Honestly, mate, I couldn't believe it, honestly. That is absolutely shocking. I was so shocked. A young cop on the passenger side actually took a hard on, Honestly, the guy took so horny about this. So at that point, the one in the driver's side was so interested in it, and he was slowing the car right down to near me and 25 miles per hour, I couldn't believe it, honestly.
So what ended up happening?
So at that point, they kept talking about it all the time,
When they just kept talking about it all the way to the police station?
Exactly, aye. So it was Helen Street.
Oh, fuck, there's a surprise.
That's what it was. Honestly, this is what happened from Kirkintilloch Main Street, because obviously I used to stay in Paisley at that point. Right. So they took me from Kirkintilloch, drove all the way through to Helen Street, Govan Police Station, and that's where they dropped me off there, It was crazy, honestly. I know the copper, PC Craig, that's his name,
PC Craig?
PC Craig, that's his name. The guy actually said that. That is what he said. He actually said that if it wasn't for my wife, I would actually let these footballers, 30 guys, right, just bend me over and just do it for me. Just do it behind from me,
So is that when you got inspiration for that story? Like when you say it in TikTok?
And that's what happened. That's when I started talking about these coppers, Honestly, I couldn't believe it. Did you see on as well that there were other three coppers as well? One woman, two men, and window was wide open, curtains was open, just the bare window open, and there were two men as well. I actually seen the videos, right? Mm-hmm. And these three off-duty coppers, one woman and two men, bare naked, and one was holding a beer, right? And the other one, the woman, was bent over and getting fucked by a copper.
Aye. I seen that. Was it down there or something?
That?
I seen that in the paper, aye.
I wasn't too sure where it was.
Somebody videoed it for their window and you could see like across
exactly,
it was like ran up or something.
That is exactly what happened,
I seen that, aye. But fucking... So what happened to that time you says there was the hose fan, you said it was all steamed up? What did you do? Did you chap the window or anything?
No, I just... that
Join
point, I just bullied about, mate. I seen the three coppers, like two of them were bare naked, and the other one, I think he had a shirt on or something like that. And you can actually try to, like, they will try to put their jackets or clothing or whatever it was, and they will try to hide their faces and all that. That's what they will try to do.
Oh, love it, aye.
So, honestly, they will try to cover the window to try and hide their identity, you know.
I see. I take this as well before the days of TikTok. You'd go that right in live, eh?
But this was before. This is what I'm talking about. What, 4 or 5 years ago, before, like, during lockdown or TikTok and all that. You know?
Before
this
TikTok.
has happened about what, 2007, 2008. If I can remember.
Right. So this is years and years ago. This
is years and years ago. You know.
Fuck's
But
sake.
I think it was an old Volkswagen transporter van or something like that.
No, was it? Aye.
That's what it was. Aye. Crazy, honestly. You know?
Fucking madness. You do end up in some sticky
Honestly,
situation,
the
didn't you?
windows were steamy. Like, you can actually tell somebody was shagging, you know. See, when you're actually into a dark car park somewhere, you can actually tell somebody's shagging, you know.
Coppers doing a bit of dogging.
Honestly, there were actually 3 coppers, 3 men. You can actually tell the faces, you know, and them sit and try to put their jackets and they try, you know, cover the window and all that, you know. Oh, it's crazy, mate. Honestly, I just bollied about and I just thought to myself, what the fuck was
Fucked
that?
off. Didn't want to get involved in that
Honestly,
shit, eh?
you know, I actually thought they were actually going to, you know, come after me, you know, and jump in the van and actually maybe do something like, do not say anything or
Slap the
what
cuffs
you
on
seen
you and
all
have their
that.
wicked way with you.
Maybe something like that, you know. Like, I wasn't sure, you know, but nothing never happened. I just booted it, mate. You know, I was old Vauxhall Omega I had, you know, a big V6 Omega, so no.
I put fucking flare, metal to the flare in it, man, off.
Well, that's what happened, you know. Instead of going through, like, Mulgai direction or Lennoxtown direction, I went through... No, what am I talking about? Mulgai direction... Aye, that's what it was, aye. Mulgai I went through, that's what I went through, aye. So, instead of going through Lennoxtown direction or the other direction, but that's what happened. So...
Fucking madness. So I take it, have you got any pending in the cases and that, I know?
I do, I have a few driving offences, lucky enough, you know.
What, are you going to represent yourself this time?
I will, most of the time I always present myself anyway.
Do you? How do you get on doing that?
Just the ability and the knowledge and all that, mate, you know.
Aye, but how do you get on? Do you do alright with it or what?
I do, if my brain does work sometimes, you know. if that works up here, alright, you know.
If you've not too much chocolate for it, man.
No, sometimes if I get quite stressed out or tired or that, sometimes I'm quite shy sometimes as well. I kind of struggle with words and all that, and you know, I do kind of, you know, I'm quite shy sometimes, you know, but I'm okay and all that, you know. So no, you know.
No bad. See, you always been for like Kirk and Tillet, man. She sounds as if you get a bit of a twang.
I know. Basically, my background, I am a traveller myself, you know.
Oh, you're a
that's
traveller then?
That's why you hear that kind of mix. Accent and all
Right,
that.
I see.
So obviously the way I speak is quite, I don't know, some people maybe kind of hard to understand or something like that. I'm not too sure, but a lot of people say I love your accent and all that, you know. And you think to yourself, well, why would you love my accent? You know, like you kind of got a big brute accent, and all
big
that.
bra, big
like
Scottish
big broad, deep conversation. You know, like a big, you know, voice. You know.
Aye.
So no, a lot of people kind of get scared of the voice and all that. I don't know why.
Just a bit too strong, innit? A bit too
it's a
strong for
very
the
deep,
eardrums.
strong accent I have. You know, but my grandparents, they're fae Wick. They're way miles of Scotland.
Aye, that was Scotland, Wick, innit?
That's right, aye. So maybe that's where the accent came from and all that.
Aye,
you know?
maybe so. So you part of the traveller community?
That's right, aye. I have a big family and all that, you know.
Oh, do you, aye?
But I don't really act like a traveller or a gypsy, but I'm more of my mum's side.
Right.
So, no. But,
What does the travelling community think you like your post videos and all that kind of stuff?
I don't know, I'm not too sure.
You know, heard ya?
I think there's a lot of people, I do have a lot of aunties and uncles and all that, you know. And I do get quite shy about it when they speak about it.
Right.
But obviously, I kind of just think to myself, I don't know, maybe they kind of enjoy it a wee bit. They do talk about it sometimes. And I kind of do, I do get quite embarrassed about it, you know.
Aye.
So...
What you get embarrassed for? Just because it's your fame, kind of
It's
thing?
just because I'm just acting like a dafty online, you know?
Aye.
So, you know.
Do any of them ever chin you for it? Your family that to say, like, we fuck you doing?
No,
They just leave you to it?
never said anything like that at all. They just said that you could end up getting famous or something at some point.
Oh, so
you
do
know?
they kind of encourage
That's what
it?
they said. Aye, well, my auntie did say to me, she said that just keep going with it, you know.
Oh,
Just keep going.
But
You
keep
could
going
end up
slaughtering the
getting-
police?
Well, about the content and all that.
Aye,
you know?
aye, I
That's what
suppose
she
with
was
that.
meaning by it, you know.
I suppose I get you now. I get you now.
But again, end of the day, it's some laugh, you know. It is. some
Aye,
laugh.
it's a buzz. It's something to do, innit, man?
That's what it's all about, mate. Aye, exactly. So, but now when I've been brought up when I was born. I was being born into an old caravan, you know.
Oh, well, yeah.
That's where I was, in an old muddy campsite place, you know. I've been brought up at Mulgai and Bearsden for mostly all my life, you know.
Aye.
So,
But in the caravan site?
no, I was in a caravan site.
Right.
But after that, I was in a house in Mulgai. And then at that point, I just basically had a very, very hard life, you know.
Oh, really? Aye.
So, I did. I had a very hard life. I've been through like Neighbours in Hell and stuff like that, you know.
But the programme? Or just you had neighbours for hell?
I just Neighbours in Hell and all
What
that.
happened with them? Your neighbours?
Years and years ago, when we moved out in a caravan, I used to stay in Mulgai, and this woman below, it was a flat. So when I was staying with my mum and all that, I think it was near me 10, 11, 12 years old at that point. So when I've been brought up into Mulgai for mostly, how long did I stay in Mulgai? 12, 13 years.
Aye.
So I used to stay there. And at that point, this woman downstairs, she was an alcoholic, you know.
Right.
And she was from Drumchapel, that's where she was from. And the next thing was, she started like playing loud music, you know, that rave music and all that,
Aye.
you know. And all you heard was like, obviously the window was open. It was a hot sunny day at that point. And me, my auntie, and my mum were going down to the shop. But before, obviously, we're staying in a flat downstairs. We started walking downstairs, and I was only a wee child at that point, you know. Obviously, I was only a wee Wayne, so there was a big box in the middle of the pavement, and I went bang like that. I made a big noise. This is her. I don't know if she was out of her face with drugs or whatever it was, right? But you can actually smell a drink and all that, you know, in the house. So she jumped out and she actually started carrying on. What the fuck you doing with that, you know, that noise and all that? What you doing smashing the box and all that, you know? And then my mum started getting involved. And she said, who you think you're fucking talking to and all that? You fat cow and all that, you junky bastard and all that. That's the way my mum was saying, right? And then my mum grabbed her by the hair of the head, right? So grabbed her by the hair of the head, a ripping hair, right? So the woman was doing the same to my mother. And that point, my mum was doing the same to her. So they both were doing each other, ripping hair out of the head and all that, you know? And then I was standing and I was like I was poor shaking and all that, you know, I was so scared. And then all these kind of like young guys came out, you know, because obviously the woman had a son. I don't know what age, I'm guessing 21, 22 years old maybe, 23 or something. And there were like about 3 or 4 of them and all that. Fucking get off and all that, you know, going like that there, you know.
Aye.
And then that point, my auntie was just pure scared as anything, you know. And that point, I think my auntie phoned the police up, you know. So she phoned the police up, and the police came. And that point, my mum's hair was all kind of torn in pieces and all that, and hair was, you know, sticking in ends and all that, you know. So that point, the police arrived, and again, years ago, they used to drive about, you know, the very first shape Ford Focuses.
Aye.
You know, them old, kind of old school Focuses, that's what they used to drive about. And they were from Maryhill, you know, that's the way they were from. So, obviously the police came up, they took a statement and all that. So they took a statement on my mum's statement, and then they took the woman downstairs, her statement, you know. So at that point, the police decided, right, listen, we need to take the 2 years in anyway. So yous two are going to get arrested anyway for, I don't know if it was a breach of the peace or something, I can't really remember. So anyway, obviously the woman and my mum been arrested and taken into Maryhill police office, kept in overnight and then got let back out again, you know. Oh, it's crazy, mate, honestly, you know.
So
and then the next thing...
There you go.
And then the next thing was the woman's son was shining like swords and all that, like big machetes and all that,
Aye.
and saying that you're going to get stabbed and all that, you're going to get done in and all that, you'd have to and all that, you know.
Fuck's sake.
You know, that's what he kept saying and all that. This is what happened.
It's doing
in
it
my
to
guy.
you? What age was the cunt?
About, what, name me, 21, 22.
And what age
23,
were you
that
away
kind
at
of
the
age.
time?
What's
Were
that?
you a child at the time?
Exactly, aye,
Fuck's
that
sake.
point, aye. So I was, you know, I was poor shite myself.
Mm-hmm.
So at that point, my mum had to leave the house, you know, for our own safety, you know. And then that point, that's when I moved to Lennoxtown, you know.
Aye.
I only stayed there a few months. So from there, and then I stayed in Kirkintilloch for a number of years, you know. And then that's when I started having a connection with the police and all that. So again, acting like a fuckwit, following the police about and all that, you know. That's when I found out about the police and all that, you know. So
And then the rest is history.
exactly, aye, the history and all that. But aye, I had a hard time as well through Kirkintilloch. I had my family home being targeted as well. My mum, my dad, and my cars also been smashed up and all that as well, just because another family member, which I've been hated as well, you know.
But was it cause that but another family member done it, or was it something they'd done?
It was just because obviously this guy got me a job and all that, and I had a BMW 5 Series, so I was doing well with myself. And I was this job, I was working with traffic management, you know.
Right.
And I hated the job because I found out that the job was quite dangerous. You're working on motorways,
Aye.
you're working on country roads and all that, which cars are like beep on the side of the road and all that, you know, going round a corner, you know.
Aye.
And you with a stop board, like a stop and go board.
Oh,
So
I see.
you're twisting the board like that there, and I found to myself, like, this job is not for me, you know. So at that point, I left the job, you know. I don't care how much the money was, you know.
Nah.
Like, I was just concerned for my own safety anyway, you know. So at that point, I left the job, and 2 weeks later, this, you know, obviously this guy obviously had a argument and all that, and we fell out with one another. And then that point, 2 weeks later, then I had a BMW. What he did was he smashed the windscreen on my car, you know. He did, he smashed the windscreen on
Was
my
this
car.
the guy who got you the job?
This guy who got me the job, you know.
Why did he do that? Because you quit the job?
Just because he hated me, aye. So he hated my job. You know,
He hated you because you quit the job?
Exactly, aye, that's what happened, aye. So obviously I left the job and all that, and that's what happened. So that point, another few weeks later again, then I was out kicking about and all that, and I bought myself a brand new BMW, you know. So that point, I paid a lot of money for this car, and I put 40s up. And that point, I must have found out I had this new car, and they were trying to look for this car, and they were trying to smash it up. Again, I was all doing to jealousy, mate. That's what it was all to do with, jealousy. So that point, I was in town, and a half a dozen of these gangs and all that, they were going about, flying about and all that. And then they started with baseball bats, smashing my mum's car, my dad's van. They smashed the full front door and caved the full window and all that. Just some mess, honestly. And then that point, the CIDs got involved in all that, you know.
Right.
And it was just from there, that's when I left Kirky and moved to Cumbernauld, you know.
Fuck's sake. So what is this, a family member done all this shit just because you quit a job?
Just because I quit the job. You
Why
know?
did they take it so badly?
Just because of dafties, mate, you know. Just horrible bastards, you know.
Fuck's sake, man, that's brutal.
I know, but that's the family from Lennoxtown and all that. They're just a bunch of bums, mate.
So is that your
honestly.
ma's side, your dad's side?
No, that's the family from Lennoxtown.
Oh, it's just a family? I
Aye,
thought you
it's
said
just
it was
a
a family
family.
member.
No, it wasn't a family member. It was just a family from Lennoxtown.
Right,
I
right.
used to hang about with them.
Right.
And obviously, at that point, they just hated me at that point, you know.
Just because you quit the job?
Exactly, that's what
fucking
happened,
madness,
you know.
mate. It's madness.
Oh, I hate them, honestly. They're just a bunch of fucking idiots.
Have
know.
you seen them since?
Don't speak to them and don't talk to them, you know. I just don't like them at all. You know?
Aye. No, you've moved to Kirky and you're on to the
And then
police.
that point, I moved to Cumbernauld. And then from Cumbernauld, and I started getting myself into trouble and all that, you know. And then since then, it's just because of the police kept getting me into trouble all the time, you know. It's crazy, you know. So, and then after that, I tried to get my life sorted out, you know. So I moved to Paisley. So I decided to go to Paisley.
Aye.
From Paisley, and then obviously everything was all fine. I never got any court cases or nothing like that. And then when lockdown started, then I got myself into trouble again. You know,
So was it lockdown
so I
the
was
kind of
totally
catalyst for
clean
that?
for 1 year. I was totally clean for 1 year, and I decided just to get my life back to normal, you know, and get on with my life, you know. And soon lockdown started. That was it. Everything just went back downhill again, you know. Crazy, you know.
Do you take drugs or that?
Don't even take drugs.
Nah, just drink that, just odd drink.
I used to suicide myself. I actually, that point, I gave up on life. See, because of all the court cases and all that.
Aye.
I decided when I was staying in Cumbernauld, there was a big massive bridge, right, at Millcroft,
Aye.
at South Cabrain. So I decided one night I'd just give up on life. And I felt like I wanted to suicide myself. And I was so close that I was going to throw myself over the bridge. And somebody reported me, and obviously Cumbernauld police and all that, decided to just rush towards me, and they said to me, listen, just step back, we can have a chat with us and all that, you know. And I was on medication and all that for a few months and all that,
Right, aye.
to try and, you know, obviously to get my head straightened out and all that, you know. And I actually suicide myself as well. I started cutting my wrists and all that.
Oh, for fuck's sake.
Honestly, I was totally, I was in some amount of mess. Honestly, I really needed help, you know. I never had no money. I was homeless. I was struggling with everything, you know. And I actually just wanted to give up on life, and I actually just got to the point that I wanted to suicide myself, you know.
Uh-huh.
So that's what happened in life, you know.
So I take it you got yourself back together
I did
since?
die, so I managed to get myself back in life, back in track again, you know. So I decided, right, okay, well, let's try and get this lifestyle sorted back out again, you know. There's no need to try and, obviously I was in the drink and all that as well. I
Aye.
was actually so down, honestly. I was in a homeless unit in Glasgow, you know. And I was poor drinking the very heavy stuff and all that, you know.
I drink every day.
Aye, honestly, I was actually I was really in a mess and all that, you know. So I thought to myself, right, okay, well, if I didn't get my life straightened out, I'm going to end up going back in the jail again anyway, you know. So at that point, I decided to go off. Obviously, I was on University Credit at that point. So I went off that, and I went on to, I applied for my job on Facebook. I really needed to get a job, you know, because I never wanted to get the, I never wanted to get the jail. That's what it was. So I applied from a few jobs advertised on Facebook.
Uh-huh.
And that's what it was, nightclubs, you know. So
That was a bouncer?
no, I wasn't a bouncer. I was a glass collector.
Oh,
So
right.
mopping floors and
A cleaner, basically?
aye, just a cleaner and all that, you
Uh-huh.
know, just a helper and all that, you know. So the next thing was applied for this job. This woman applied and all that. We have a job for you, you know. Come in and all that. You know, I wasn't sure what kind of job it was, and that's the name of it. Polo Lounge, you know.
Oh, shit.
Right, okay. Honestly, that's what happened. Polo Lounge. I wasn't giving a fuck anyway. I needed this job, you know. So the money wasn't too bad. It was only £600 and odd per month. You know, the wages wasn't too bad. But again, end of the day, it was something to try and get my life back on track.
Yeah.
Right. So next thing was what happened? Aye, so anyway, I applied for this job, and the woman says, yes, you got the job and all that, you know. Just come in with your birth certificate and, you know, your...
Your passport and
Aye,
that,
all your
right
stuff,
to work,
like
your
driving
fucking proof of
licence and
address
all
and that shit.
That's right, aye. So your details and all that, right? Just bring all your stuff and all that in. So which I did. And you have to do a health and safety course and all that, which I did. I passed it and all that. Got the job, and I was working from Thursday, Friday and Saturday, right? So at that point, I was working, I really enjoyed the job. I actually loved the job, you know, because I liked the music, and I actually, the content and all that was absolutely
A
fantastic.
good vibe
you know.
in there, apparently, so I'm told.
Was that?
It's a good vibe in there, so I'm told.
Aye, it was really good entertainment, you know,
Uh-huh.
it wasn't to do with the folk, it was just, I actually enjoyed the nightclubs. I don't really go to nightclubs, you know, but I was happy. I liked the support, and I liked the community and all that. And I liked the social life round about me, you know, and the folk were alright as well. Obviously, I don't have an issue with gays or lesbians and all that, you know.
Aye.
I don't have an issue with them, but I actually found out that people were quite nice, you know.
Aye.
They were really, really nice people, you know. And no, it was quite good, you know. I really enjoyed it and all that. And then that point, I left the job because obviously I had an argument and all that, and obviously I went back down again. And
What was the argument there?
it was to do with a pal of mine's, and then obviously I smashed a window of McDonald's
Right.
at Kirkintilloch.
What, on purpose?
Obviously I met him and all that face to face. I bumped into him, and at that point I just gave up and all that. I was fighting and all that. And at that point I had a black eye and all that, and I thought to myself, I can't go to work with that, you know. So that was that point I left the job, you know. So it's other people that lets me down, you know, and I try and get my life back straightened out again, you know. So, you know.
So what happened to McDonald's with your pal? What was the deal with that?
That point I went into McDonald's at Kirkintilloch and I met him there. And that point we had an argument, and I got so angry I actually like, I've really got a very bad temper. Like, I really struggle with my mental health and all that. You know, I really have bad mental health. I have a really bad temper as well. So I actually just flipped like that there, you know. And I actually put full fist and I cracked the full one day, you know.
The fuck? You put it right through
Honestly,
it,
I actually wanted to jab the guy, you know, but I never jabbed his face, you know. So I actually just went full force with my fist, draw my fist back, and poof, like that there, cracked the full complete window, you know.
Did it go right through it?
I never went right through, but it made a full complete crack, you know.
Did you bust your horn open?
I did. I had a few wee cuts there and all that, you know. But I think it's probably in the part of my dad's side, you know.
Nah, that fiery
My
temper.
dad's got a really bad temper as well.
Is he? But did you get jail for that? Or did you get charged with it?
No, I never got jail. It was just it was only a JP court anyway. So it was only, I think
Did you get
it's
charged
only
with
a
it,
civil matter, isn't it?
Aye,
I
it's
don't
a
think it's a
vandalism.
criminal matter. Aye, it's just vandalism.
Aye.
So it's only a civil matter, I'm sure. I only just got a fine for £200. So no, so but back again, applied for another job again, and applied from, what was it? Garage. I was at the Garage nightclub in Sauchiehall Street.
The garage.
Aye, that's what it was. So applied for that job, got the job and all that, and I said to him, the reason why I got the job, because obviously I told him that I used to work in Polo Lounge, you know, and I showed him my pay slips. And obviously the woman took that and obviously took it into account and all that, and I got the job, you know. And worked for 1 week, mate, honestly. Do you know how much I got? £80
For that week?
80 odd
How many hours did you do?
I done it, same again, three days a week, you know.
Oh, was it?
3
Aye.
days a week, £80, mate, honestly.
Fuck's sake, mate. So
80
what was that?
odd
That'd have been
pound.
half your polo
I
wage,
was
innit?
£82 or £83 or something like that, you know. And I said to the guy, take that job and stick it up your arse, honestly.
Did you say that to him?
Honestly, that's what I said to him. I said, take it and shove it so far up your arse. Honestly, I never, £80 I wouldn't even work for that, £80
What did the guy say to you when you said that?
Guy said, on you go. The door's there, open. On you go, you're free to go. You know?
Fuck's sake, man.
£80 mate, honestly.
Scandalous.
Garage nightclub on Sauchiehall Street. That is pish, mate, honestly. Again, the same job, collecting glass and cups and mopping and stuff like that. It was a wee bit different from Polo Lounge. I actually like Polo Lounge, you know. I liked that nightclub because it was a really, really good job. It was simple, it was easy, it was better money in it, you know. But definitely, it was all different parts of the nightclubs. Like, I think there was like, is it 4 different parts of the club or something?
Aye, they've got a couple of different flares, man. You've got the tap bit, and I think they do like functions and venues. And I've
That's
been in it
right,
a couple
aye,
of
they
times.
do
And
different, like,
they've got a fucking jacuzzi in it.
Have they?
I've got a jacuzzi, you can get in mad with it and fucking jump in.
I never knew that.
Aye, it's
It
up the
must be all
tap.
different now, you know.
Yeah.
When I was there, I'm talking, what, 2015, 2016 or something back then. You
Yeah,
know?
mate, I don't know if they've getting rid of it. They're probably getting rid of it now because of COVID, but aye, back
I never
then
knew
they
they
had
had
a
a
jacuzzi.
jacuzzi or that.
Aye,
I
you
never
fucking can't just jump
knew
in it
that.
steaming.
I never knew that, you know.
Yeah,
That must have
madness.
been after my time or something, you know.
Aye.
No, but honestly, definitely it was. It was really good entertainment. I definitely enjoyed it because it was a good, because obviously it was a good club and all that, you know. So definitely it was good entertainment, you know. So that point, applied for another job and all that. Worked for, was it a van driving job and all that? I worked from there. And then at that point I just left it, and then I started just buying and selling cars. So that's what I've been doing for the last few years now.
Aye.
And also, well, obviously I just like just build myself back up and all that, you know. So I'm doing well with that, you know.
Ah, good on you, man. Good on
That's what
you.
I'm doing now. So buying and selling motors. I buy no shitty cars. I'm buying the best cars now, like BMW X5s, Range Rovers. I had a Range Rover there. Made good profit on that as well. Delivered it up to Oban. That was a good motor, you know.
Ah, good
was a
stuff,
good
man.
motor.
Good, you're getting your mileage out of it,
Aye, well, definitely. Made my petrol money back, you know.
That's it, mate. That's it. So, what's your plans for the future then? You still got to be caning the coppers, or you got to take a back seat for it?
No,
You still...
definitely no. That's
Nah.
that's my younger days. You know, I'm try and get these court dates over and done with and all that. You know, court cases. So no.
So,
I
what's
want that
next for
over
you?
and done
What's
with.
next?
Just try and get on with life and try and get better on with life. You know. So no, I'm no like. See, the kind of guy I am is. I help anybody out there. That's who I am. You know, I'll give anybody a lift. I'll give them. See if they want maybe like a £10 or £20 for the price of fags or something like that,
Aye.
or a bag of chips or a can of juice or something like that. You know, that's the kind of man I am. You know, I am very heartful, like a very heartful or thankful man. That's what I am. You know,
Generous.
exactly. I have feelings for other people as well. I'm very thoughtful with other people as well. Like there were one night there as well. Like I actually helped somebody out as well, and I actually gave them a lift back up the road and all that. You know, that's what I do. You know.
Yeah,
So,
good stuff, man. Good
aye,
stuff. I've seen that
definitely.
you posting online, even getting people listening that kind of stuff.
That's what I do. You know, I just sometimes I usually go around in town and all that. I give people lifts and all that just to make a wee bit extra money and all that. I don't charge them a fortune like the price of taxis,
Aye.
but it's just a wee bit just to keep myself going and all that.
Aye.
You know? Just and also as well, I buy and sell cars and all that as well. And the reason why I do that is just because of entertainment. You know, I just want people. I just want support from other people. That's what I want. You know, that's what I want. You know, because obviously sometimes I kind of get like. Sometimes I kind of feel a bit lonely sometimes, and I just want to speak to people and all that. That's what I want, you
Is
know.
that how you go in lives a lot, I imagine?
That's what I do, aye. So obviously I'm a single man. I never had any. I did had one girlfriend at that point, and then I just dumped her, you know. So I couldn't be bothered with her anymore.
Aye.
So I don't know what I'm going to do in the future time. Maybe have a bird or some point in life. I don't know. Maybe see what happens in life, you know.
Yeah, see what happens in it, man. See
what
where your
happens.
feet take you in it.
Well, that's what happens, you know. See what happens, you know.
Ah, nice one, mate.
Aye,
Nice one. But anything you want to say to the camera before we finish up?
Don't know yet.
Fuck the police.
Fuck the police, mate. Fuck the police. You know.
But cheers for coming, mate. It was good
Aye,
to have you,
definitely.
man.
I really, really appreciate it.
Lee Sutherland, people, like, subscribe, and don't get wide.
Premeditated.